You see this logo here? Today's recipe is actually by their mom. So today we're going to be making ham and cheese rolls. These are just an indulgent spin on a classic. My camera really doesn't do justice just to how much cheese is in it, but let's get started. For our ingredients, you're going to need some bread. I'm just using a Pullman from Guam Bakery. Some cheese, I'm using the Kraft American Singles. Some butter, chopped ham, panko breadcrumbs, and then some eggs. So you can use any bread you want. Like I said, I'm using this regular Pullman from Guam Bakery. If you guys know my husband, you know he works there, delivers Jigo area, so yeah, buy it. So for this recipe, I'm not going to be using the end slices. They're a bit harder to roll. So now I'm going to flatten out the bread. You want to get it as thin as possible. You don't have to use a rolling pin. If anything, you could use just anything you could roll it over with. I'm sorry if my camera gets shaky. It's because it was making the table shift as I pressed down. But yeah, just do this with each slice of bread. So just repeat with the rest of the bread that you have, and I'm gonna speed on through this because you really don't need to see me rolling out all 19 pieces. Now here we have them all nice and flattened out, and we're gonna start prepping the ham. Now for the ham, we're just gonna cut them into strips that'll fit the slice of bread. To prep the cheese, I'm just gonna take these singles and I'm gonna fold them into fours. And now it's time to assemble. Here's my butter that's been softening. You'll notice this bread has a hole. I usually start rolling wherever there's the imperfection so that the end will be sealed. Just put a thin layer of butter all over the bread. And now we're gonna add our strip of cheese onto it. And now your piece of ham. And now we just roll it. You can press against the cutting board if you want to apply some pressure to help seal. And here's our first roll. Now all we gotta do is roll the other 18. I'm gonna speed this up because I don't think you guys really want to watch the same thing over and over again. And here we have it, 19 rolls. Now it's time to wrap them in some plastic wrap or foil before we pop them in the freezer. Wrapping them like this before we put them in the freezer just really helps them hold their shape and stay together. Now that they're all wrapped, these are going to go into the freezer for at least 6 hours. The longer the better. These have frozen overnight, so now I'm just gonna bread them and fry some up for you guys to see. I'm pouring out my panko, and in the other dish will be my eggs. The best way to do this is one hand wet, the other hand dry. So you're going to cover it in the egg wash, make sure to get the ends. And then cover it in the panko breadcrumbs. If that coating doesn't seem enough for you, go ahead and double bread. You're going to want to repeat these with all your other rolls. You can do this right before frying, or you can even do this in advance after they've set in case you need to fry up a big batch like I'm going to do on Saturday. If you plan on doing this ahead of time, I suggest putting either wax paper or parchment paper between the layers just so they don't stick together. And now we have some oil heating up here. We're gonna heat it to medium-high. And to test if the oil's ready, I'm just gonna sprinkle in a little bit of panko breadcrumbs to watch if it sizzles. It does, and now we're ready to add in our rolls. We're gonna pop these in and fry them until they are golden brown. This is the color I like, so I will be taking these out and putting them onto a plate that has a paper towel so they could drain a bit. Now you just want to let these cool a little bit because the cheese inside is hot and you don't want to be burning your mouth. There's Ellie trying to get anything on the table, so maybe we should let these sit and cut one open for her. I'm gonna cut these on the diagonal because it looks fancy, and I just wish my camera could actually catch how cheesy these are. These are really delicious. I hope you guys enjoy them, and let me know anything else you'd like to see. Here is a photo of my kids enjoying it, and I want to thank Auntie Josie again for this recipe, and of course the tree shop for my logo and cutting board. Thanks guys, see you again.